people of the internet. Ian, also the Freedom Astrologer, once again here and doing my, let's say, weekly intuitive reviews. And this time, let's say, weekly astrological intuitive review. Let's put it that way. And this time I wanted to do it a little bit different because I felt like it was kind of like stale or stagnant within myself, and I wanted to change this up a little bit. And I wanted to talk to you about one specific configuration we've been in, this past week already. And this is the Jupiter Sun conjunction. I will obviously briefly go through the days as well, through the different days we have in this week and what the energetic influences are. But I wanted to really, at least for a moment, dissect this Jupiter and Sun conjunction for you guys as well. And for those of you who follow me on other social media platforms, you know that I made a post about Jupiter and Sun conjunction in Kanye West's chart. And he has that aspect natally. Although in Gemini, I think Kanye West, that is, he is like the epitome of what this aspect means. So first and foremost, if you look at that person, he's very public, or has been usually very public, especially in the past. Younger ones maybe don't know, feel so old, but he was very public a while ago, and still is, I think. And what you can see and what you can observe from him, and when you listen to him and when you listen to him talk, and even if you listen to his interviews, is this incredible, almost otherworldly belief in himself. Now, when we dissect Sun and Jupiter, we understand what it is, because Jupiter, is the belief. It is the higher belief. This is the deepest of beliefs there is. We can say that this belief that doesn't, weigh here and there. It's there. For a certain, for 100% or 110% that is there. It's almost like you're connected to these higher frequencies, and the Sun is very much what we identify ourselves with, and it's such a huge part of our ego, our consciousness, and what we want to create in the world as well, how we want to put things in the material reality. And if you put already these two things together, you understand why this person, this man, really deeply, almost undoubtedly believes in himself, in his creation, what he does, what he creates, what he makes in the world. And one of the reasons why he has achieved, a lot of the things that he has achieved in this world. And again, if you go back, you look at, what he's done in business, even not just music, in business, just totally betting on himself, and, just having that huge belief and energy. And actually, in the end, it paid off, and it paid off a lot, and it's still paying off. And I just wanted to bring this story because I think, we all need this belief. We desperately need this belief within ourselves to create, to make things happen. And yes, unfortunately, a lot of us don't have it natally. Some of us do, some of us don't. A lot of us don't, unfortunately, again. And this week, the previous week, we got a taste of it, and now moving into this week, still, 6th, 7th, maybe 8th, a little bit of that belief is still there, that things will be fine, things will be okay. This belief that we can create and make things in our lives. But the other part that I wanted to talk about this aspect, or dissect this aspect, is that when this belief goes, haywire, meaning it's good to believe in yourself very strongly and deeply, but there is a fine line with that, and thinking you are of God, or of some sort of specialness, that you are better actually than others. And this is where the problems can start happening. And this is one of the let's say configurations when a person can really start to think. And when we're feeling it globally, or overall as human beings, we can start to really think that we're the shit basically. And not just only that, which would be fine, but the second part of this is literally that we would start to think that we're so special, so unique, that we're better than others, that we're literally a gift from God to other people. Which is I would say, let's say, because we're talking about a conjunction. Now, when we're talking about a sextile or a trine, usually there is a difference there. When we're talking about a conjunction, because sextile and trine are still harmonious aspects, it usually means that there isn't some sort of distortion there. Now, I'm not talking if there are other aspects in the chart, obviously it can play out differently. But usually it's harmonious, so it plays out differently. But when we are, literally in a conjunction with this, there is a tendency, or at least a higher probability, to go also into the, let's say, into the darker side of this, which is what I spoke just now. So I think we really need to be grounded in this energy, because it's Pisces as well. In Pisces, already very dreamy, very, very, very high, very high up, very, in our upper chakras. So it does speak of a fact of a needing to ground. Yes, belief is good. Believing in oneself is good, and it's important, and it's very hard actually to do anything if you don't have that belief, at least for a little, or at least a little. And you need to have that. But be careful, guys, with this. I noticed myself even being in this kind of back and forth of this chosen messiah, or it wasn't that bad, but it does bring a very, very intense belief in oneself, of seeing oneself a little bit in a too bright of a light, I would say. And be grounded in it. And if you want to see what maybe the negative manifestation of this configuration might be or could be, I do recommend watching a movie, and the movie is called There Will Be Blood. And the character I would love for you to observe with this aspect, that you literally, the negative side of this aspect, is Brother Eli. He's a pastor in the movie, and the movie takes place around turn of century 1898, 1900, beginning of 1900s. It's a fascinating movie, and if you're interested in watching how this Messiah complex can actually manifest in real world, and the darker side of the Jupiter Sun conjunction can manifest in real world, I really recommend you watch that movie and observe that character, because he epitomized what this Jupiter Sun conjunction negatively means in the world. The person started to literally believe Jupiter all sorts of things about themselves, And it's not a big role in the movie, but it's still quite a important one, I would say, still. So you can observe that, guys. Don't be like Brother Eli, basically, is what I'm saying. And be grounded in this, because we're still in that energy. We're still in Sun conjunct Jupiter, beginning of week. Now, beginning of week, we also have Taurus Moon, which is nice always, but we by the end of March 8th, we're getting into the place of Moon being conjunct Algol. And you know, if you watch these, you know, every month Moon is conjunct Algol for a day. So every day of the month, you know, we're getting a bit of difficulty here. And remember, guys, right now, I'm going to just go into that. Let's chart. Let's go. And we have an interesting one, because right now we have even the North Node there, and we have the squares coming in from the Aquarius. So the 8th of March isn't my favorite, let's say, days, even with the Taurus Moon, because this is a probability, a chance for, you know, some violence definitely happening in the world. And you know what is happening in the with the W situation in unfortunately my neighbor country. Yeah, that sucks. So I'm seeing here a day where it's a little bit better, if possible, for you to just be, you know, maybe, you know, do some spiritual practices, do some research, do some esoteric research, work behind the scenes with going towards your you know, projects, goals, dreams in life. And would most often recommend to, you know, keep a low profile that day. And if you need, you know, watch the news, probably going to see some not the best of news in my mind. Probably a little bit harder. Yeah, even like speaking about this, it's a little bit, you know, violence and aggression, and people's emotions are really, I would say, on the edge here. You know, you can feel the edge, and if you're, I'll tell this, if you're, you know, more aware and more understanding of these energies, and you know how to move back and forth within these, it's easier, obviously. But you know, a lot of people are constantly going with their subconscious impulses, you know, these percolating things, these monkey brain things, and they're reacting from these places. And this is where, you know, the Moon conjunct Algol and North Node, end of Taurus, can really be, n squared by Saturn and Mercury, can really be you know, agitated, so physically, mentally. Yeah, not my favorite day here. I mean, if you want to, you know, look at it from positive perspective, let's look at it from a positive perspective this moment as well, because I think it deserves it. Pluto is still giving it a trine, sorry. So, you know, I think if you're able to do so, and actually, you know, we have the sextiles coming in from Pisces, so there is some support. Again, it all more so, you know, implies on deeper emotional spiritual work here, which would be a lot better to, you know, to be emotionally aggressive, and you know, put your aggressiveness outside, you know, negatively influencing others. Or be negatively influenced by others. So I do recommend to use this day more of like a, if possible, you know, everybody can't do it, but you know, you would use it as an internal psychological, spiritual, internal clearance day. Let's put it that way. You know, watch astrology videos or spiritual videos or something like that. Much better. Much better. Now let's move onwards, guys. Let's move. Yeah, let's move. Let's move. Let's move. Let's move. Where are we going? We're going to Moon. End of March 8th. Moon moves out of Taurus and into Gemini. You know, our emotional lives are getting busier, busier, busier. Not a lot of focus though. Just curious about everything, want to communicate, want to talk, want to learn about different things, and want to exchange a lot of information. And I think that's one of the best things you can do during Gemini Moon is, do business endeavors, do, left brain things, be curious, learn things, learn skills. Very good. Send messages, talk to people. Very good for Gemini Moon. So this will last again from around 8th of March, end of 8th. Let's put 9th of March, around 10th, 11th, almost March. Now, what we want to talk about here, what did I want to say about this time? Okay, let's move even a little bit further. Let's put the 10th on. So the 10th will be first quarter moon. So whenever there is a first quarter moon, everything is super busy, guys. So what this means is everybody all around the world will be super busy. So, and again, this time we'll get first quarter moon in the sign of Gemini, which means everybody's will be even busier. Gemini, very, very busy, lots to talk about, lots to communicate, lots action, lots information exchanged. So this will be a busy time. So let's say, for example, if you're planning on, launching something or publishing something here, I would recommend against it, or do it a little bit later, because everybody's so busy. They don't have the time to put their attention on it. And even like, when you're maybe phoning somebody or calling somebody, or talking or sending a message, sending an email, it might take so longer time because they're so busy with everything else. And maybe you send a voice message to a friend and they get to take a while or longer to respond to you. So be prepared on the 10th, definitely, for that. Okay. I think I don't want to say anything more about this. A little bit, actually, I do. Actually, I do want to tell more about this then. Sorry, guys. Because we have a pretty of important thing happening here. We have the Mercury moving into Pisces. So whenever Mercury moves into Pisces, it's not the best place, definitely, for Mercury. This is a personal preference first and foremost. But I urge you to observe Mercury in Pisces, because Mercury in Pisces it's the words that are coming out of people's mouths, even if they're not bad people, let's put it that way, they can be vague, they can be untrue, almost like the person doesn't want to give the whole truth, and then give something else. It isn't so pleasant, and you really need to pay attention. You really need to pay attention to what you're saying yourself. What are the words? What are the thoughts as well? Am I thinking something that is not possible at all? Obviously, it's okay to visualize, fantasize, but it's very dreamy, it's very in the clouds. So if you're a songwriter or a poet, or somebody who's in the creative realms, obviously this is a good time for you. But if you're somebody who's in the left brain administrative world, or left brain business, whatever mainstream world, Mercury in Pisces, that will last approximately for 3 weeks. It's still, be prepared for meetings to be postponed, and people not showing up even, and just saying things they don't even mean. And again, they can be in that Mercury Piscean magical energy, and they can promise more, they can deliver, etc., etc. So please be aware of that, and don't promise yourself as well. Hmm. Good for, good for creative pursuits, spiritual pursuits. We have so much Pisces energy, guys. It's I think it's almost impossible to do not do anything creative or not do anything spiritual, and just to feel, that we want to be a little bit behind the scenes, still more behind the scenes, so people can be more private as well, because when Mercury is in Pisces, it's also what we think about. So what we think about there is, I want to be in private, I want to do creative stuff, I want to do spiritual stuff, I want to visualize, I want to live in this magical dream fairyland type of energy. So good for some things, not good for other things. Use accordingly. And if you are more, open, let's say spiritually already, channeling, meditation, all of that is good. Or, just, poetry and writing spiritual texts and channeling and all of that is pretty darn good during Mercury in Pisces. But communication suffers. Fantasy literature also good. Easier to go into addictions, guys. I think I want to mention this. I think I mentioned this also in my Donnie monthly March thing. Easier to go into addictions during Pisces season. It's just like, because it's the way we think and what we communicate on the Mercury in Pisces, and there are other stuff in Pisces as well. So it's easier in your minds to justify every kind of addiction, every kind of victimhood, every type of escapism we might have in our minds, in our psychic system still ongoing, and then you want to escape and do some bad things, which I would again recommend against, and do the spiritual, do the painting, do the poetry, do the writing of some creative fantasy thing. It's a lot better than doing drugs or alcohol. Yeah. So okay, wanted to wrap this part up with saying there are lots of creative ideas, spiritual ideas, channeling of spiritual information into the material realm. There's still, I would say, a lot of communication around this as well, around this time. But again, be careful with what you say and what you hear. Everything during this time, will feel like it's almost like up in the air. It's very changeable. Remember, guys, for a couple of days we have so much already mutable Pisces up in the air energy. Now we have Moon in Gemini as well. So everything will feel kind of up in the air. There's no certainty. There's no clarity here. There's everything is kind of confusing. Information is being exchanged, yes, but it can be even confusing information. It doesn't have to be the most direct of informations. Hopefully Mars and Venus can help us a little bit with the directness in communication, but generally from this point onwards, yes, Mercury lasts for a longer time, but luckily, the first quarter moon ends quite quickly. Moon will move out of Gemini, so at least a couple of days that will be felt around the 9th, 10th, 11th. It will be felt like very, 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 very busy, very vague, very up in the air. I don't know exactly what is happening or what's going to happen type of energy up in the air. Now, let's move a little bit further, guys. Let's put 11th, I think we're on the 11th, yes. Moon moves into Cancer. Again, good place for the moon. A little bit maybe too sensitive and emotional, but still very good time. One of the things I want to say about moon in Cancer is sometimes the emotional side and the desire to be home and kind of nurtured and it doesn't always have to be private, but it's, in home, at home, sorry. Or you're in the house, you want to be more at home. Again, we have this private energy anyway with the Pisces. So I do see, almost like being at home is good here and wanting to be at home. And then the Venus and Mars, you might pop in the social media and just say like la, 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 a couple of things, couple of mean things. It doesn't have to be only mean, obviously, but it can be some things you're saying there that might be a little bit meaner, a little bit more aggressive. My truth, I want to speak my truth, and then pop back into your privacy, private energy, nurturing home energy after that. I think I'm done with this day. Actually, I wanna say something else about some other days. I want to say something about end of week. Actually, let's go end of week. I think is more important because right now we're getting into the place of Sunday is the day. You can definitely feel it from Friday, Saturday already. But we have a real cluster here, obviously in Pisces, and Sun conjunct Neptune. Sun conjunct Neptune. Just I want to be, in a spa, in private. Again, that private energy. So I do see a lot of that happening here. A little bit lazier, a little bit more creative energy behind the scenes working. Yeah, again, pay attention with the addictions. I think the addictions thing during Pisces seasons needs to be, constantly mentioned anyway. But how you can use this, look at this, guys. Even if we go back a few hours and when the moon is starting to make that. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So moon is making a lovely trine actually here as well. So yes, in private, our emotions, feeling life will definitely get at least a momentary boost before even the moon is trine Sun and Neptune. It will be trine Jupiter as well. So emotional boost, emotional good feeling, again, feeling connected to your family, feeling connected to your home, feeling connected to higher purpose, to higher meaning, and just a momentary boost for your feelings and emotions. And now again, after that, we are in this private energy, we're in this creative behind the scenes working type energy, maybe a little lazy, yes, but a good, extremely nice trine for some spiritual and creative pursuits. Emotional, I would also say emotional healing is possible here with the combination here. It's like, it's definitely a possibility here. And in this case, I would say, guys, because there's, the Pluto hard aspect is coming in. So that can be, a little bit later in the day or, let's say, can feel like it's almost on the edge a little bit. Our emotions are a little bit edgy there. But before that, the 12th of March, really just emotionally, spiritually good time to do some private spiritual work, to do some private creative work, to feel good, to feel good about your emotion, feeling life for at least a second here, even a little bit more than a second. And yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say about this week. Actually, I think we're done. Yeah. Oh, one thing. One thing. So if we're talking about the Sun Neptune conjunction, one of the things I really want to mention this is that I forgot to mention in my monthly review video is whenever the Sun is conjunct Neptune, be careful around when, let's say, male figures. It doesn't always have to be male figures, but usually it's some sort of leadership male type figure who is maybe a little bit, upper in the ranks or more advanced in career, worldly life than you are. Can, maybe not have the best of intentions, maybe not have the clearest of intentions, and come to you and say, maybe not the clearest of things, Even I literally notice when I'm talking about Neptune and when I'm talking about Pisces, it's all about blah 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 blah. It's very much confusing and up in the air type of even the words that are coming out of my mouth aren't as clear. But yeah, with male figures, even if you, let's say, for example, it doesn't have to be in your immediate environment. It can be literally in your, let's say, maybe you watch a video, YouTube astrologer. Okay, okay. Maybe you watch a video and maybe the message that is coming there, it doesn't have to be the clearest. And again, this is where it gets very, very, very tricky with Neptune. The message can be even good, healing, spiritual, this creative, good type of channeling message. But the problem is where the Neptune, it can make it seem that it's so good, amazingly, it puts the rose-colored glasses on your face, and it's like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. Again, if you notice yourself going into these things and these thoughts, it's probably not the best thing ever. It has potential. It has maybe good healing probability potential. Let's put it that way. But it doesn't immediately mean it's the best thing ever, especially with the Neptune here. So please be aware of it. Do some private healing, creative work behind the scenes, guys. Thank you very much for watching, listening. I think I'm wrapping this one up now. Finally, guys. Still managed to do 30 minutes. I don't know how. Okay. I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching, liking, subscribing, everything, all of that good stuff. More weekly reviews, more intuitive, more astrological information coming your way. And please go on, check out one of the new things I started with my good friend Mercedes. We started a podcast. We talk about also astrology, but we bring in a lot of different topics into the discussion, and we'll start bringing guests into the podcast as well. So if you're interested in spirituality, energy, feelings, we're going to bring so many different themes and topics into that podcast. It's hard to even let's say list them out. Let's keep it at that. But check that out, guys. The links will be on the YouTube channel as well. And thank you very much for watching, listening. Like, share, subscribe, comment under the video how you're doing, how you're feeling, and see you again soon in the next video.